So I'm sure many of you have heard of Planned Parenthood and the many controversy that it's been having recently with funding, with people, well, many people are against it because that offers abortion, and basically some people see it as a tax on the community, when really it's not. So Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit organization that was created in 1916 by Margaret Sanger and her sister and a friend. So back then in the 1920s and around that time, it was sort of illegal for women to get any contraceptive help. So seeing firsthand, they decided to create these programs to help women and to help men with different sexual and reproductive health services. So basically they just helped give the women different ways not to get pregnant, and if they did, they gave them different ways to sort of help the family to go along. So then by 1916, it was a respected and powerful voice in the women's movement. So it wanted to help women, mainly, to know the different knowledge and to just help them overall, regardless of their income. So by now, it has over 74 different independent local facilities, and it operates more than 750 health centers. So my claim is Planned Parenthood is a necessary asset to communities. So what it does is, basically it helps provide different services for reproductive health care for both men and women. It does this by giving cancer screenings and helps with prevention for cancer. It does STD testing and treatment, contraception, and abortion services, and other women's health services. So many people, they just focus on that offers help for abortion, but when really it doesn't. Recently there was a government, I believe it was a representative, who stated that almost 90% of Planned Parenthood services was abortion, when in fact it's not. Only 3% of it, of a Planned Parenthood, is abortion. The rest is 16% is for cancer screenings, 35% is for STD testing, and 35% is for contraceptive, with other 10% being for other services. So basically, Planned Parenthood doesn't just only do that. It just helps people, and it helps with them to prevent pregnancy as well. So it was estimated that in 2008, there were 620,000 unintended pregnancies that were basically prevented. So overall, it does rely on government help. It has government funding, which is the basic and main grant that it uses is the Title X Family Planning Grant. So this was enacted in 1970, and what it does is it provides different money to different individuals to help with family planning and other reproductive health services. So it's located and it's geared towards individuals who cannot afford these services, so low-income individuals. So this does help the different people, and it cannot be used for abortion services, so the government is not helping pay for this. It's just to help people who cannot afford to help themselves. So this leads me to my second claim. Planned Parenthood provides services at low cost that would otherwise be unaffordable to lower-income people or people who are under the age of 20. So in 2008, there were 36 million women who were in need of contraceptive care but not reproductive age. 17.4 million of those women were under the federal poverty line at a level of 250 below and younger than 20. So basically 71% of those people were poor and could not afford to have decent medical health care for their reproductive. And 4 or 10 of those had no insurance coverage at all, so they sort of needed Planned Parenthood, because if they got pregnant, then it was sort of, there was no way for them to help. If they're caring for a baby, then so far they're going to be more of a burden onto the tax people. But if the tax is paid for Planned Parenthood, then there's no baby, no worries. So in short, they do save taxpayers a lot of money. So that way those people don't have babies, and then those babies don't have to go into other government programs like WIC or SNAP. So the third claim is Planned Parenthood offers women the chance to control themselves concerning their reproductive system and the choices they have to make. So it does give them different choices. It does give them different counseling services, so it tells them how to prevent pregnancy, or if they do get pregnancy, what different options they have. It doesn't just say, oh, go have abortion. It'll say, if you want to have a child, here's the prenatal choices you can make. Here are the medicines you can take for your baby to stay safe. And if you want to have an adoption, we'll give you a referral to help you have a safe and careful adoption. So it just at least for the woman before she gets pregnant, if she gets pregnant, and if she doesn't, or when she has pregnant, it helps her tell how to have the child. So overall, Planned Parenthood is necessary to the community because it does help a woman and it does help men, regardless of gender, make safe and practical decisions regarding their reproductive and sexual health, regardless of age and income.
You have an outline you can give me now?
I have to
okay. All right. Well, the topic area is clear, and you've got a pretty clear statement of the proposition. I didn't really think that the preview was as clear because your first point basically starts listing all of these potential services, and those multiple claims there, I'm not sure if those are going to be the claims of the speech. Now, later on in the speech, you do structure a second and a third point, so I do think that there is a structure there, but it wasn't helped by clarifying it at the beginning, and I think that's a little bit problematic. You do okay kind of explaining what some of the controversy is, but it gets a little bit lost with all of the historical stuff about Planned Parenthood, which I don't think has much to do with the controversy that is being faced right now. What you want to do is talk about what's going on right now. How much does Planned Parenthood spend? How much of that is provided by the government? And you know, the argument is, how much do people want to cut? Do they want to cut all of it, and would that have an impact on all those other services? If Planned Parenthood obviously is not entirely funded by the government, and so that's the only part that appears to be controversial, because there's some question about whether or not this is something that the government might find problematic. You know, that people, you know, they don't want their taxes going for paying for abortions and those kinds of things. So, when you say, well, they say, you know, it's 90% of their business is abortion, and you say, no, that's only 3% of the business. Well, the question is, where does that number come from, and how do you account for it? For example, is that based on the money that's spent? Is that based on the clients that are served? Is it based on visits that they have? I don't know any of those kinds of things, and so, or is it just based on the services that they list? You know, abortion, and then you list 500 other things, so abortion's only 3%, but if the 500 other things are only utilized by 10 people who come in, and abortion is utilized by, 10,000 people that come in, it might be only 3% of the services, but it's 90% of what they're doing. I'm not sure, and I have no way of knowing that from your argument, and so I think that evidence needs to be a lot clearer. There's a lot of data that gets presented. I tell you what, sometimes it sounds like I'm getting a pamphlet from Planned Parenthood, and I think you need to make it sound a little bit less like a brochure and put it in the context of an argument more. This sounds like talking points on why Planned Parenthood is a good thing, and not an argument about why cutting Planned Parenthood or funding from the government for Planned Parenthood would be harmful. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't provide all these other services. The question is, would cutting government money reduce those services? And that's the argument that has to be made. And I don't think that you've got a point in here that makes that inferential leap. So you need to develop that a little bit more. All right, thank you.